guys. We are officially live. It is Thursday. I know that you're not used to this usual time, but guess what? We're going to bring the fire anyway. We're going to bring you guys everything that you came to see in the locker room every Thursday. We talk about the trending topics and we bring people from the industry, you guys, that have lived it, not just talking about it. They've lived this football life and they want to share some game with you. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We got another amazing show lined up for you. Now, always on every Thursday, I got my co-host, the one with the shades, the one that holds me down in the trenches, the other corner on the other side of the field, and that's none other than Q, the guru. What's going on, guru?
What's going on, Coach? Y'all have to excuse the shades, man. My cat got my allergies acting up, man. My eyes look like I've been hanging out with Charlie Sheen all day.
Okay. So there you go. You
I had to cover them up
down. Definitely.
And the fans and viewers start being like, oh no. So
Q's had some late nights in his past, y'all. So the shades got to come out from time to time. And then, of course, we've got our guest for today's show. This is somebody, you guys, that an amazing football career. One that most of us would dream of, somebody that I grew up watching, and also he has a son that's now playing in the NFL. This is a wealth of knowledge that this gentleman has, and he's here to share some game with you and has had an amazing transition as well off the field too. So excited to get some knowledge, some game, some information from none other than former NFL player, Oregon Ducks legend, Alex Molden. How's it going today, Alex?
Man, it's going great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Oh, man, we're pumped up to have you on. And sometimes you guys don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but Alex saved us. He saved us tonight to make sure that we had a special guest for you guys. So, excited to have you on. And I know we're short on time, so let's get right into it. If you're joining us for the first time, you guys, the Locker Room Show is where we bring trending topics, we bring stories, we bring advice that is geared towards the aspiring football players, the parents, the coaches that want to get into this football entertainment industry. So let's get into tonight's show, you guys. And not our usual time. We're usually 6 p.m. Pacific, but Alex helped us out. So the first topic, as you guys see on the bottom ticker, is the difficulty with consistency. Difficulty with consistency. Now, Alex, you had an amazing career. I mean, you started Oregon, big-time Power 5 conference. You went on to become a first-round NFL draft choice. Most of us only dream of that. And you had an amazing career. But a lot of us deal with consistency issues. I know I did, where it was like one time, you look like you're on top of the world. You're going to win a Thorpe. Next time, you don't know where you're at on the field, where you're supposed to be on the field. So how did you stay so consistent during those key prime years where you had so much success?
Well, great question. I think the being consistent really stems from like really knowing your craft and not just and not just knowing like a little bit of it, is like understanding your job and then the job of those around you who can help you. And so when I started to understand, like, because I was an athlete, right? I can jump and I can run and I can do all that type of stuff. But one of the things that really triggered my growth was actually a setback. I tore up my knee. I had my redshirt freshman year. We was in a bowl game. I just got a pick six. And then 30 minutes later, I'm on the ground, not knowing if my football career is going to end out how I wanted it to be. And so that was that really crushed me. But then once I understood, if I can start to understand myself and understand how to actually run, I was fast. But if I can actually learn some of the fundamentals of running and jumping and doing all other stuff, now that was an unlock for me. And so, but during that transition, I came back, I still got 2 screws in this knee. right? And
Wow.
I came back 9 months later. Now I wasn't the same. I was at this big ass brace on my knee and whatnot. So I had to become a student of the game. And once I started to study and understand like the principles, the foundational principles of my position, and then the safety and the nickel and what the linebackers were, well, that like took my football IQ. It took it
To the
like
roof.
this.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
and now once I had now become a student of the game, and that really helped me become more consistent, along with
Okay.
understanding like I'm going up against some dudes. So they're
Mm-hmm.
going to win some, and
Yeah.
I'm going to win some. And so understanding that, and not being like keeping it even keel through my success and my failures, not living
Okay.
in that moment,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no, that
Absolutely.
makes great sense right there. And Q, I know you had some highs and lows during your career. What
Yeah.
was it during the times where you felt like you were on track, things were happening the way you wanted it to? What was it about those times? What was it about your lifestyle, your mindset that contributed to that?
I mean, man, there was a point in time, especially going into my junior year, man. I mean, I knew like statistically, I mean, and ability wise, I was, among the best in America. Right there with the Quentin Jammers and and those guys that, went first round out of our draft class, T. So um my thing was it was a little bit the opposite of what Alex just said is mine was off the field. Mine was
Consistency off the
not
field.
exactly. It was never on the
Okay.
field. It was learning how to eliminate distractions. Like for example, coach, we were just talking about what last show, girlfriend, things of that nature. So that's
Yeah.
where I struggled. That it was off the field. That
Okay.
affected my consistency. And to me, that's even harder than on the field because if you dedicate yourself on the field, like he was saying in regards to how every defense works around you, that can be all that needs it takes work, but off the
Okay.
field would destroy you way quicker than not being able to figure out something on the field.
You
Off the
pre
field
Hey,
like that.
you
So
preaching now. Let me
yeah,
tell you, you are preaching.
man.
A lot of folks don't.
Definitely.
Yeah, a lot of folks they don't understand like the discipline that it takes on the field or in your sport, but more importantly, off the field and all the
Mhm.
things that, like you said, distractions or those pitfalls that can come off the field,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
relationships you have with girls and whatnot, and even
Talk to him.
people who are close to you
Mhm.
that you didn't choose the relationship.
Mhm.
It's blood,
Yep.
right?
Mm,
And
mm.
they look to try to capitalize off your success and off your platform.
Facts.
Okay.
So
Absolutely.
Okay. Now
Absolutely.
that's a good point. We are on to our next topic, you guys. And this one, I'm glad to have you on because, you've been on so many sides of the game. You've been on the player side of the game. You've been on the coaching side of the game. And your son, the one that you brought into this world, is now following in your footsteps. And you've seen, obviously, this young man live the journey, and go through everything. A lot of people thought he would be an Oregon Duck, but he chose otherwise. And I think that from the outside looking in, Alex, you've done an amazing job helping guide your son through this entertainment industry.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to ask you, when you look at your son's journey, when did you really realize? I know sometimes we got the dad glasses on, but when did you really realize that, hey, this boy might have the potential to do some of the things that I did?
Mhm.
yeah, man, it really. I knew that he had talent, right? But I also know the discipline that it takes, right, to take that talent and what do you do with that?
Right.
And so, number one, I always looked at him and see, was he passionate about this? Because I'm not going to push anything on him. All right. I'm not going to be that dad that, hey, we got to do this. We got to go to the field at 6 o'clock in the morning. No, I left that window open. I said, hey, if you want it, I got it. All right. I got
Right.
the book. I got the book. So
Okay.
for us, it was more like, man, is he really passionate about this?
Right.
And he really was. But he was good. Like, he was an athlete. Like, he once he once playing youth baseball, he had an unassisted triple play.
How'd that
Well,
happen?
Exactly, right. I'm not a big baseball dude, but
Yeah.
when
wow.
it was
I am. I'm trying to figure
Yeah,
that
he
out.
played baseball. He got drafted.
he was on first base. He caught a pop up, and then he tagged first
Tagged up.
base,
Okay.
and then he sprinted. He sprinted to the next base,
To
second base,
second
or
and tagged up on second.
yeah, it was
Okay.
like,
I can see it.
but he knew,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that was a moment where I was like, okay, he got it. Another moment was when, I'm not a big fan of 7-on-7 stuff, but I understand, like, that, that it's more of a platform to compete. And
Yeah.
so one time he was a junior, I think, going into his junior year in the summer, but we went to Vegas, and I
Okay.
want to put him in front of people that are better. And, like,
Yeah.
we're in the Northwest. I'm in Oregon. I understand how people look at Oregon football. I know that, so I took him to these different places. Anyway, this 7-on-7 deal, Elijah had some hype around him. And so he went out there, and it was a stud receiver from Texas. And I think he did his homework on Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
And he caught a little curl or an out route. He caught it on him. And then he started chirping. And Elijah, this is his first time. I've been in the NFL. I know, I know that cats do that to get in your head, but this is his first experience with it. So he caught an out route on him, started chirping. And then later on that same drive, he caught a touchdown on him.
Okay.
And he got up and he started talking a lot. And so I watched my son. The
You
next
seen
time
how he reacted to
a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Elijah went on the field, he ran. He ran on the field, and he had this look about him, like he was so focused and locked in. Like, it gives you chills. It gives me goosebumps.
You just gave me chills.
Yeah. And he went out there, and he was a totally different person. And he went out there, and he put shackles on this dude. Dude didn't catch another pass the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And how old was he? Was that going into his senior year?
No, junior year. That's going to his junior year. Now,
Okay.
Elijah, he was a freshman starter. He started for us all 4 years in high school. But once again, I know where we're at. We're in Oregon. That doesn't impress me, and it's not going to impress a lot of people. So you have to. Your road is going to be different than a guy from Texas or California, Arizona, or Florida.
Right. So you had to throw him in the meat grind and see what he did.
That's right, and see what he can do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, but his passion for the game and wanting to get better, I knew once he had that, because that right there was the foundation, and we saw that. I saw that early.
Yeah.
Okay, that's big, right?
That was a dog check. That's what that was.
Yeah.
That was a dog check.
I like that.
I'm your father, but I got to see if you got it in you. Pops can take
it happened to me. I'm from Colorado.
Right.
I know people don't respect Colorado football, but I had to show them I'm a little bit different than your average bear.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yes, indeed. And he was, you guys, because once again, a star at the University of Oregon, lockdown corner, went to and played well in the Rose Bowl, and then went on to get drafted in the first round by the New Orleans Saints. So let's go to our next topic, you guys. And this one is media. Media, you guys. Obviously, as football players, we all have to deal with the media. It comes with the territory. It comes with the job. And this was something that happened towards the end of the season, but I wanted you guys' opinion on it. Giovanni Bernard had a rough game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There was a big fumble, I think, muff punt. And a female reporter from ESPN was really getting in his face about the situation. And I wanted to get you guys feeling. I'll start with you, Alex. As far as media coming to players and players responding, what's the line there? Should a media personnel be able to ask whatever they want for the most part? Or and how much leeway does the player have to show he's offended by questions?
I think, and after watching that clip that you sent me, I felt like two different ways. Number one, Giovanni, he handled it in a very classy way. he didn't. At first, he was like baffled, but then when he said, okay, he can control the narrative, which meaning he can control how his answers and the emotion behind it. Most cats, they get emotional. Okay, they get emotional,
Right.
and that reporter, the way that she was asking the question, she had emotional content. She was frustrated. She was frustrated, and you can tell it got turned a little bit angry. And so, but once he started to like, you know what, I'm going to answer these questions, and he did a phenomenal job. He took full accountability for what happened. It was my fault. It was my fault. And then he kept saying, "Hey, no, it's my fault. No, it was my fault." And he cut it off. So he did that. That was splendid.
It was.
But you know, when reporters start to get emotional and they start to have that feeling, that's when you know, like, is this personal or is this professional? And most people, you got to understand, especially as high school athletes and collegiate athletes, is you can control the narrative. You can say, no, I'm not going to answer that. Or I don't have all the intel.
Right. But that has to be taught, because as you said, if you don't control the narrative, then they will.
Yes.
And if they do, that's when you start getting where things get misquoted. You know, that could affect your money. It could affect you getting, your draft status, your NIL, your high school or college. It could affect you a lot.
Let me ask you this, Q. Where's the line as far as age? Because we have Pop Warner, we have high school where maybe some of these games are televised locally, and you'll see the commentators try to not get too down on the kids. You'll see the reporters ask softball questions. What's your opinion as far as college and pro? If a kid throws 4 interceptions, Ohio State, Michigan, how can we come at that kid as media?
Right. Well, I mean, it's not going to be wherever, because of the powers that be there who run the media, will say. So it's not going to be we'll ever be able to put parameters on the media. It's our job in regards to, even with our show now, or the elders that have been there and done that, like Mr. Molden on the show with us here this evening. It's about us teaching these kids. You have to be taught. Dealing with the media is an acquired skill. That's not something that you just automatically know. If you're not taught, then you're not going to be able to deal with the media, and it's one of those things where sometimes, good publicity is great, but you have to know how to handle that. I always mention to a lot of young guys about, Edgerrin James. Well, Edgerrin James is, to me, one of the top 10 running backs, of all time, if you think about it, statistically and durability wise. But guess what? You never really heard him do any media. You never heard him get any type of endorsements, because he can't talk.
Good point.
He wasn't an eloquent speaker.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to field those questions. You see what I mean? That's where you get your money from. That's where you get positive notoriety, in addition to your play off the field, where you up your value, is learning how to field these questions and deal with the media. And to me, especially in college, that needs to be part of the student athlete curriculum, definitely in football and basketball, because those are the two most televised sports. How can we not have that in our curriculum? That should be mandatory.
Good point. I want to move on to the next topic, you guys. And I know, Alex, we got you for about 10, 12 more minutes. So
I got you. Hey, I'm here. What's up? I'm ready.
All right. So, and for those joining us live, thanks for tuning in live. If you're catching us and you're in the middle of this, baby, I know this isn't our regular time. So if you happen to catch the recording, thank you. This is great content. We got a great guest, and we're going to hit a home run with this baby. So we're on to the next topic, and this is a very interesting one. And Alex, obviously you played in the NFL, so you know it's business. You know it's cutthroat. And this is a dilemma. Some may look at it as a good dilemma. Some may look at it as a bad dilemma. But obviously the 49ers need to put somebody at quarterback next year. And it's not going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. That ship has sailed, but they've got two young ones, you guys, and both in the same draft class. One was drafted in the first round, and one was Mr. Irrelevant, the one that just lost the NFC Championship with them. So I want to ask you guys, and once again, Alex, we'll start with you. if you're sitting back as GM, as John Lynch, how you looking at this thing? You Shanahan, John Lynch.
So you got to weigh. So there's a couple of things you have to weigh, right? Potential. That's one thing, right? Potential.
Right.
Trey Lance has a lot of that potential. And then you got to look at experience. Purdy was thrown in the fire. He was thrown in the fire. So his experience, I think, is greater than what Trey Lance has. Now, I don't know how much I don't know how much they, how much money and whatnot is involved and how much is left on Trey's contract. I don't know. I don't understand all that. But, man, like the dude who, the value, because Purdy was drafted down here.
Right.
Yeah.
Trey was drafted up here. Purdy was drafted up here, and he did way more than what was expected.
You would have been happy if Trey Lance performed like Purdy, probably.
Oh, now we cooking.
Absolutely.
We
absolutely.
Yeah. But
now
Purdy, man,
hey,
the decisions he was making.
Hey.
In critical moments, man.
Yes. I'm telling you, clutch.
That's clutch. Hey, so, if I was the GM, I'd be like, we gonna fight it out. And you're gonna fight it out in spring and then in fall camp or summer camp. But man, you're gonna be hard to get that dude Purdy up out of that spot.
I'm telling you. Well, see,
it goes back. Talk to me, Q. Talk to me, because let's say you're in Houston. You're in a hotbed for high school football. I got an all-state quarterback who's a senior who goes down early in the season. And then I got my junior who comes in and does a Purdy.
Yeah, we seen it.
Now all-state is ready for playoffs. What we doing, Coach?
I mean, that's a tough call. I mean, we've seen that. I mean, actually, like last year, North Shore, which is one of the powerhouses in the country down here in Houston, state champ. We actually lost to Duncanville this year, but North Shore, they won state with a freshman quarterback. Well, early this year, he got hurt. So we're always going to see that. And that comes down to, it's always going to be that battle of, the backup versus the starter, especially in the quarterback position. But, like you were saying, Purdy got thrown in the fire and it's sink or swim, and the kid showed up, man. So you can't just strip that from him. You can't, because I've had an opportunity to speak with him. Actually, him and Daryl Strawberry went to my church, but I had an opportunity, to speak with Kurt Warner a couple times, because he and I actually ended up having the same, college coach. But it's one of those things where he reminds me of Kurt. Nobody saw him coming. Had the ability all along. And sometimes for some kids, it's better that way, that the expectations are low. And especially at that particular position, it was like they were just expecting him to kind of come in and maintain. And this kid is putting, 28, 35 points on the board consistently.
Yeah.
So looking better than Garoppolo.
Absolutely. So you gotta let him fight it out. You gotta let him fight it out.
All right.
He's a
that's obviously to be continued. And this is a good topic for you young athletes out there, because some of you guys are gonna be the one that's trying to keep a young dog off your back or trying to pursue somebody's job. And usually in football, this is how it goes down. You saw what happened with Tom Brady and Drew Bledsoe. So we're on to our next topic, you guys. And this one is obviously ongoing too. This is a hot button topic in football, but Tua recently cleared protocols. Now, obviously he didn't play in the playoff game, and this is after the season, but good to see that he's doing better. But this was a tough year. This was a tough year for Tua. I mean, he was the poster child for concussions. So talk to me a little bit, Alex. I mean, once again, you played where these grown men, this is how they eat. They cash checks. They pay for private school, get their kid, homes based off of their livelihood. What do you think the protocol should be when they determine whether or not Alex Molden, a grown man that needs to provide for his family, gets to go on or off the field?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because I don't even know. I don't know the protocol. So I can't really speak to that. Shoot, back when I was playing, as long as you answered, you knew where you was
protocol,
at.
right?
you knew where you was at, because actually, hey, so where are you? Oh, I'm at Candlestick Park. Okay, cool. You can play.
Go back in there, right?
Yep. And so now it's totally different. But I would just say, like, man, the type of hits that he took, whether it's tackles or his head hitting the ground, like, man, you have to really be careful with allowing him to play. And I'm glad that he didn't play towards the end of this year. Even though everybody else, the team, they had a chance, in the playoffs, but it still sat him. I think that was the right thing to do. Now moving forward, like he has to make some tough decisions, because this thing is real, man. The CTE is no joke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
no, that's a good point. Q, talk to me. I mean, obviously at the younger levels, it's going to be probably easier to clear protocol.
Right.
What do you think the parameters should be? Like Alex said, when we play, if you seemed all right, you can go back in.
Absolutely.
Do you think that there should be a minimum week, 2 weeks? Once again, these people got their recruiting or their check on the line.
Right. I mean, it's really kind of hard to say. Like I said, I don't know the exact protocol either, but I will tell you from a player standpoint, the more concussions you get, the easier it is to get one.
Okay.
Okay. So it's one of those things where, a shot that might not prior, you having concussions like that you might have just absorbed and popped up. That shot's got you where you're out of there. And, and all of a sudden now you're in the middle of a concussion situation. So I will say, the kid is tough, but he and his family, it's a football family. They're going to have to, at some point in time be like, hey, know when enough is enough, and not be that guy like we've seen, a lot of, older players or boxers or whatnot, these full contact sports where, he's older and starts to seeing, degenerative issues, man, up top. So I wish the kid the best, but they're going to have to really, really be careful in regards to protocol.
Great point. Great point. All right, you guys. Well, we are on to our next topic, and that topic is the lightning round. The lightning round. And if you're joining us for the very first time, this is the fan favorite of the Locker Room Show. This is our opportunity, you guys, to put our guests through a little bit of a word association drill. So excited to have Alex on. Now, this is a smart gentleman. He speaks to people. He's an author. So I expect for Alex to kill this thing. Hopefully,
expectations. Oh my gosh.
But this is our opportunity to see what Mr. Alex Molden has thinking and going through his brain. So I'm going to give him a question. Now, he's got 60 seconds to go through it. So I got my phone stopwatch here, and we're going to see how many he can get. Now, we don't just do this for fun, Alex. The number is 13. 13 is our high water mark. And if you can, now this might not be an Elijah Molden dinner and hotel stay, but if you can beat 13, then you got a dinner and a hotel stay for your lovely wife on up. All right. So this is the lightning round.
Just one word answers?
One word answer.
Yeah.
One word
answer.
If you want to go fast, you better give us the one word. Some people waste time getting too elaborate. First thing that comes to your mind, let me get my stopwatch ready. Now, Alex used to go, you guys, in the 40-yard dash. Don't let him fool you. This man was 4'3" in that range, so that's why he got paid. And I'm sure he's about to cook on this. So let me get my stopwatch ready, and let me get my questions ready. Once again, first thing that comes to your mind. I know you're a big family man, so I know it's going to be at least PG-13, and we're going to get it going. So you ready to go, big dog?
Here we go.
I'm ready.
All right.
All right. So we're at zeros. I've been accused of cheating. And for those that are joining us for the first time, this is the lightning round. The number to get is 13. And you get one for tech delay. 1 for tech delay. So if you get 12, that's tied. 13.
Here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
Number 1. First thing that comes to your mind. Mike Bellotti. Go.
Great communicator.
Drew Brees.
Intelligent.
Date night. Louisiana or LA? New Orleans or LA?
New Orleans. Easy.
First thing that comes to your mind. NFL Combine.
Competitive.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
Oh man. This athlete.
Enchilada or burrito?
Oh man. Enchilada.
Marty Schottenheimer.
Strict but fair.
Phil Knight. 55 seconds.
Oh my goodness. Phil Knight.
Time.
But you gotta give him that one, Coach. You gotta give him that one, Coach.
I didn't hear you. What did you say about Phil Knight?
I said master entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Master entrepreneur.
Yeah,
for those that don't know, this man went to Oregon and has done a lot with Nike. I know you've been doing some speaking engagement with them. And Phil Knight is the major booster donor behind the University of Oregon and a lot of their success. So he said master donor, and entrepreneur. So let's count them up. And once again, you get one more for the tech delay. So we got Mike Bellotti 1, 2, and we'll revisit a couple of these. 3 with LA, New Orleans. 4 Combine. 5 Jalen Hurts. 6 on the Enchilada. 7 on the Marty Schottenheimer. Phil Knight is the in the tech delay. You got 9. See, it's not as easy. It's not as easy as it.
I thought it'd be cake.
And the one we got y'all was the Combine. On the Combine. Yeah. All right. So there you go.
With that one, I should have said elevated because it is elevated now.
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't have cameras in there. They had an NFL Network when I was, going through that 96.
Yeah.
So now it's definitely. Like, and that just shows the popularity of football in this country.
Mm-hmm.
It is a big deal. That and the draft now,
The draft.
So it's a big deal.
All right, let's get you out of here. I know we got one last question for you. And, these were some big time responses, so we appreciate you. And that's fun. He said on the date night, you guys, he's going to the NO over LA. So there you go. And then we are on to our audience Q&A. Q, if you got something last minute, keep me posted on that. But I've got one for you. The NIL, we talked about difference with the Combine. Now we're talking NIL where these kids are pro a little bit earlier. And your university has started to really, or your son's university has started to really get deep into the NIL. They have a marketplace now. And obviously, your son had a great career there. They got the quarterback from Indiana, Penix, and he's got a bunch of NIL deals. He's got one here with a shirt company and a licensing deal with them. So if you had Elijah playing and headed to Washington now, what would you say? Would there be more prep on a certain angle? How would you approach the topic, Alex, of NIL with Elijah?
I would say because of, what people tend to miss out is the character, that character piece. Okay. And along with the character and ability, I'm gonna give you an example. Marshawn Lynch wasn't the most, he wasn't in the media a ton when he was playing. He hated doing interviews, but people loved him because he was true to himself. He's Oakland. He's Oakland through and through.
100%, right?
100%, right? And so with that, he might cuss on live TV. That's just part of who he is. He was, this word gets thrown around a lot, authentic. I'd say he was being himself. Right. His character is who you are.
Right.
And so if you're proud of the character, like where you're from and all that and how you talk, then share that. right? Now,
Okay.
if you're a good person, right? Because companies want to get linked with not just authentic people, or you're a good person. You
Right.
can be a jerk and you can throw all the touchdowns in the world, but you treat people with very little respect. That's going to be hard to promote, and to
Right.
have companies link or create a relationship and link their product or their brand with your brand. So understanding, like, if you who you are, there are a lot of people and a lot of companies that if you know who you are and you're more than a football player, that's valuable. And if you can
Do you think the
communicate,
young kids can catch on to that?
if they have people like me in their lives, yeah.
Right.
If they have people, services like what I provide, then yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very
That's what
good.
I was saying. That has to be taught. 100%
Okay.
has to be taught, because again, it's this I was saying in regards to the edge. It's about showing these young guys how to be marketable, because again, you want to be true to oneself and authentic, but again, it's sometimes it's that fine line too, where it can scare opportunities away in the same breath.
Hmm.
Good point.
Yeah.
It's got to be in curriculum, man. It's got to be taught. It's got to be
Yeah.
taught, and we have to continue showing these young guys how the importance of that. It's a
Yeah.
must.
And just making sure that they link with their character, right? With things that they enjoy doing or they enjoy having, right? If I'm,
Has Elijah had
if
some business opportunities that
yeah,
you've helped guide
yeah,
him? Okay.
yeah. Like when he first started, or not first started, but his rookie year, he likes coffee,
Okay.
and he likes like making, like, he's not just a Folgers type of coffee. No, he turned to a coffee
Kind of
connoisseur.
sewer,
So he started, like, man, like stuff. I like coffee too, but like how he was making it, and the stuff that I was like, damn, that's like a science experiment. Well, he
but he
started to
Yeah.
link up with these different companies. So it's,
Okay.
sometimes, it's about you having something outside of your sport that you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then, those companies linking up with your brand and the people
Okay.
that you have following you,
Mm-hmm.
that can be something that's totally different, right?
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch with Skittles.
Right.
It's like, how does
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
the dude like
Yeah.
Skittles,
Facts.
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely.
point.
So
Absolutely. And your
it's not
son
just
was in the coffee mecca too. The mecca of
yeah,
coffee.
yeah, exactly.
So
He was
So
that
these
was
kids have
perfect.
to look at themselves as businesses and have a
Oh, for sure.
nonprofit or a LLC or something like that.
If I had to do it over again, I would
Yeah.
get myself an LLC,
Okay.
and I would be able to have everything funneled through that arm in my business. Right?
Mm,
And
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the stuff that I know now, right? I'm damn near 50. But if I
yeah.
had to do it again, man, I would invest in myself, right? By
Okay.
getting a team, a coach that
Okay.
can teach me how to take my game to the next level. But then also,
Because you would have got paid at Oregon,
Boy.
NIL,
Woo.
your
yeah,
first round draft pick.
yeah,
You
yeah. But I mean,
um,
like, think about, I could have linked up with a blanket company, or
Any on Subway sandwich,
something, yeah.
the Molden melt from
a
Subway.
startup and took some
You like
equity or
that one?
something.
You can. That's for free. You can use that.
Yes, yes. Oh, okay,
The
I'm gonna
Molden
use that.
with some sauce.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
the Chipotle, the Molden melt. You got to put
All right.
Chipotle mayo
Well,
on that
I
thing.
love
I
it.
know, Alex, you got to run, man, and thank you for the extra time. And really, this was great. I know that a lot of the student athletes, parents, and coaches are going to get a lot out of this. So we appreciate you, brother. Keep up the great work, and much continued success to Elijah
For sure.
as well.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys do an incredible job. Keep up the great work,
man. Good luck to the youngin', my man.
And also the Shark Effect, you guys. Pick up the Shark Effect. Alex does have a book. Is that on Amazon, Alex?
It's on Amazon. You can go to my website. It's alexmolden.com. You can all information about what I do and the type of impact that I create. So yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right,
check
brother.
that out.
Have a good one. Let you get out of here. All right. All right, you guys. Well, hey, that is the great Alex Molden. Once again, his son, Elijah Molden, locking people down, dude. He was having a great year this year. till he got injured.
Yeah, Kid can
So
play.
so
He can play,
Tennessee
man.
was missing him, their secondary.
Absolutely.
But to have that dad son combo, and you heard what he said. We've been talking NIL, these kids making this money. He said, man, I'm gonna have me an LLC, and I'm gonna be funneling everything through that baby.
Everything. I'm
You
telling
know,
you, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, man.
I didn't know. So the North Shore quarterback got hurt.
Yeah, the freshman that got hurt, man. He got hurt, So and it's one. I mean, but see, Coach, it goes back to our many discussions about, especially at that quarterback position. Don't be so quick to hit the portal. If you're a quarterback out there and you're a backup quarterback, don't be so. You're in college, obviously. Don't be so quick and frustrated to hit the portal, man. Backup quarterbacks are absolutely essential, and it doesn't take much at all for you to be the man in the snap of a finger. So as we
what
say,
would be a good study, and I just thought of this while you were talking, to look at each position and see the percentage of how many second string guys see time. We were just talking about Purdy,
right.
So it would be interesting to see by position. I don't know if it's different from the NFL to college, but to see by position, basically which number 2 needs to be ready the most based off of probability that the one is going down. If it's running back, left tackle, who is it?
You know what? Honestly, that to me, from a player standpoint, it's going to be either running back or quarterback because they touch the ball more than anyone else. Your running back and your
linebacker.
Yep, your running back and your quarterback out of anybody else touches the ball more than anybody else.
So your guess would be that would be the probability with the highest running back or quarterback.
Absolutely,
where number 2 better be ready.
Better be ready. Absolutely, better be ready. Okay. Absolutely better be ready. Running back and quarterback. That statistically, I mean, it's that's just what it is. Running back maybe running back even more so. So because they have the shortest careers.
Well, now paying running backs is much easier.
Right. So I mean,
because they feel like they're interchangeable.
Exactly. So yeah, do not be really assess your situation, but don't be so quick to hit the portal because you could be the man next snap, literally.
No, and I see some people coming into the show. Thanks, coaches. That's what the great coach Eric Foss is telling us. I don't know if he's in Georgia or Alabama, but checking in. Of course, wifey drops through the show and says, great show. A whole new cue with the shades. We got George Jackson. That's the Stallion Hall of Famer. Big ups, Milk. He says, and that's what they call, that must be Mr. Forney. That's what they call Alex. Back in the day was Milk in Colorado. So we didn't get the story behind that, Alex, but we're going to get the story behind the Milk story. But hopefully you guys got a lot out of the show. Obviously, once again, I'm Coach Wood. This is Q the Guru. This isn't our usual time, but Thursday is our usual day. So if this is your first time riding with us, please tell everybody you know, all the players, all the coaches, all the parents out there. Also, hit the button, please, because we don't ask you for no money, and we do put in a lot of work and effort getting you the best in the football industry. Once again, today we had the great Alex Molden, and he was also talking about his son, the great Elijah Molden. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Help us boost up the show. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell your people so that the algorithms give us some love and we grow this thing as a community together. The Locker Room Show, where we serve the football family. All right. So, Q, anything for the good people before we get out of here?
You know what, Coach? Same thing as usual, man. It's an off season. This is where the best ones get better. Keep those grades up. Parents continue being supportive, and here we go into another season. Just like
we got the Super Bowl coming in a couple weeks, man. Who you got?
But I got the Chiefs, baby. I got the Chiefs.
My
boys gave me hey man, look, my boys, they gave me a shot. I'm a Jayhawk. My family's from KC. They got the best barbecue in America. It's too much going for them. We gotta ride with the Chiefs, man.
All right, so there you guys
Got
have it.
to.
Q the guru, and we holding them to that. So remember what he said. Q the guru is riding with Mahomes, Kelsey,
She
and the boys.
got
Coach
to.
B enemy, and the Chiefs. I got a dog on each side actually. I got Coach
Okay.
B enemy who I love on the Chiefs, and then we got the great Dustin Woods who came in
Facts.
on the
Yeah,
Eagles
yeah,
side.
yeah,
Strength conditioning coach,
yeah.
BYGP zone. So we can't lose. We'll see who wins. All right, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Once again, next week we'll be back. Usual time, same bad channel, same bad time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Rock with us in the locker room. We're going to have another amazing guest for you. We'll see you at the top. Have a good one.